the Natural Health and Healing Show with one of New England's leading nutritionists, Mark Mincola. The show is brought to you by the Good Health Stores in Hanover and Quincy. Call Mark at 781-837-4900 with your health and nutrition questions. Now, here's Mark.
Good evening and welcome. On this bitter winter's eve, we have a nice, warm, toasty broadcast for you this evening. Hope you're well out there. And first things before we get going here is I'd like to thank Candida Mammoth for doing such an exceptional job yesterday at the Lantana. A great event, a good time was had by all, and it was wonderful, of course, hearing and spending some time with Bernie Siegel. Was really a great evening, and so many people enjoyed it last night. The meditation was great, etc. So hats off to her, great job. And another great event. How's that for a segue? Another great event coming up this Tuesday at the Red Lion Inn in Cohasset. That's, of course, 71 South Main Street. There's an event entitled Nutrition and Hypnosis for Weight Loss. And that'll be again at the Red Lion Inn, 71 South Main Street in Cohasset from 6:30 to 9. And, of course, we have the two people who are putting on that presentation. We have Mona Corvels-Cusack, and she's, of course, a certified consulting hypnotist. Mona, how are you?
Fantastic, Mark. Thank you.
Great to have you here.
Great to be here.
And, of course, Suzanne Landry.
Hi, Mark.
How are you? And she's actually running the nutrition part of the show. And, of course, these two wonderful folks are amigas. They work with me, of course, at Santi Holistic Healing, so we spend a lot of time together. But, Mona, I'd like you to talk a little bit about hypnosis for nutrition, or hypnosis for weight loss in this case.
Terrific. Mark, first I'd like to tell you a little bit about what hypnosis isn't.
Great.
People have a lot of misconceptions about it. They fear the word sometimes. Sometimes the word trance makes people nervous. Trance means altered state of consciousness. Right. That's all it means. People are afraid that they're going to talk like cluck like chickens, or that they're going to be asleep or lose consciousness.
Right, lose control.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. We use the word deep, and it means more relaxed. People fear they're not going to come out of hypnosis. Again, they're always in control, complete control. Clients actually induce their own trance. They go deeper by following suggestions. They go deeper when I anchor a suggestion, like every time I touch a shoulder, you go a little bit deeper. People are afraid they'll reveal secrets.
Right.
Can't happen. It's not a truth serum.
Actually, the end product of hypnosis is gaining more control.
Exactly.
It's the total opposite.
Yeah, and you're actually in more of an awakened state than you are just sitting here right now.
Right.
Because you're so focused. So you never do anything or say anything under hypnosis that you wouldn't do right here, right now, in this room.
So we've got to get rid of the amazing Kreskin. Is that what we're saying?
Exactly.
He's really not so amazing. He's bummed a lot of people out and frightened a lot of other people. So.
Right.
So we're doing the real deal here.
So we're getting the word out.
All right. So folks coming into your presentation this coming Tuesday at the Red Lion Inn in Cohasset, what exactly can they expect when they learn about hypnosis for weight loss? Because I know this time of year in particular, January, February, March are the three busiest months of the year as far as dieting goes. I know that this month, January, 23% of all adult Americans are dieting, 24% February, 26% in March. So we work our way up to the busiest dieting months of the year this time of year. So folks need help because, unfortunately, the research suggests that 66% gain back whatever weight they lose within 6 months, and 98% within 5 years. So if people are not getting the job done, and I think this is really an important cue, is that hypnosis, like we said a moment ago, really enables people to regain a sense or gain a sense of power over things that have failed so much in the past. It really gives them a much stronger mind about really following through.
Right. If you give them a little idea or education about what hypnosis is, all it is focus, concentration. When you're relaxed and your concentration is so intense that you're not distracted by the outside noises, you're in a state of hypnosis. In fact, you're in a light state of hypnosis every day. Think of reading a book. You get caught up in it. You can hear people walking around, but somebody might yell, dinner's ready, and you pick up, drop the book.
Right.
It's like watching a movie. You're big into the movie. You go deeper and deeper into the movie. You don't even know if the person beside you gets up and gets popcorn. It's more like being in a daydream. Driving on the highway and missing your exit. We've all done that. That's highway hypnosis is what they call it. You go on autopilot. Although you're driving, your mind's wandering. You're thinking about, what you're having for dinner or the car. Oh, that's a pretty color.
So you mean they're both texting and they're under hypnotic spell?
No, I hope not. But
I think I'm going to start taking the tea, Mona.
if the car in front of you ever, put on his brakes, you're right there. You're right on it.
Right.
So when you access the subconscious mind, which lies beneath ordinary consciousness, you can change unwanted habits, patterns, and imprints. Now, the National Guild of Hypnotists, where I got certified, uses an analogy I love. It's called the iceberg analogy. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's the tip of the iceberg is what we see. It's like 10%. But that's not what sinks the ship. It's the 90% below.
That's subconscious.
And I love that. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
In the subconscious mind, you were telling us, I think it was Bruce Lipton, about the subconscious mind's function has the ability to interpret and respond over 40 million nerve impulses a second. I learned that with you. In contrast, it's estimated that the diminutive self-conscious mind prefrontal cortex can only process about 40 nerve impulses per second. An information processor, the subconscious mind, is 1 million times more powerful than the self-conscious mind.
So when people come on Tuesday night, are they actually going to have the opportunity to have you hypnotize them for weight loss?
Absolutely. The session is going to start with a pre-talk. Depending on how many people are there, we're going to go around the room and find out what their triggers are.
Right.
Suzanne will already be telling them about nutrition. We'll do a little pendulum test so they can see how strong their mind is. We'll do some progressive relaxation, get them nice and relaxed. Suitable suggestions for weight loss and breaking unwanted habits will come next, and then some guided imagery. Seeing the way that you want your body to look. Everybody's been at a weight usually that they like.
Sure.
You can go right back there. Seeing how you want to eat, making the healthy choices. And then a self-hypnosis technique with post-hypnotic suggestions at the end.
Great. So you guys are really tag teaming here on Tuesday night. Mm-hmm. Suzanne, of course, Suzanne Landry, Masters in Nutrition, registered dietitian, internships at the Dana-Farber Leahy Clinic, ran Mass General Hospital's Cancer Center for 5 years. So you've pretty much covered the gamut here.
But what I got really smart when I started working with you, Mark. Mark and I work side by side, so I use his healing system and muscle testing to help people.
She's being compensated to speak those words. No, she's pretty a special person with exceptional talents, and obviously on Tuesday night, those folks that attend the nutrition hypnosis and hypnosis for weight loss at the Red Lion Inn in Cohasset will experience that firsthand. But Suzanne, talk about what you're going to be doing Tuesday night with weight loss issues for folks.
Okay, so for the first hour, I'm going to talk about what people can eat, so the foods that are helpful, supplements, and if we have time, we're going to do a mindful eating exercise. So what that means is I'm first going to talk about how certain foods, especially foods that are high in the glycemic load, can increase.
Tell people what that means.
Glycemic load, any foods, especially it can be fruit, high sugary foods, all the processed foods. When those spike your sugar, it elevates insulin levels, which triggers cortisol, which causes your body to say, oh my God, I'm getting all this sugar. What am I going to do with it? I have to put it somewhere because I'm certainly sitting on the couch. I'm not going to burn it.
Right.
So it ends up storing those sugars, converting it into fat and storing it in your stomach.
Right.
So we're going to talk about ways to break that cycle so people can learn how to eat in a way that's going to help. And actually there was just a study last month at the University of Alabama where they found that even people who have insulin sensitivity, so people with diabetes or hypoglycemia or people with thyroid conditions who feel like they can never lose weight, that if you follow the meal plan that I'm going to talk about, that even those people can lose weight and their body composition will change. So even if their weight stays the same, that it actually can help increase muscle tissue and change the fat composition so it redistributes, muscle and fat, so it's not just around the belly.
So I'd like to ask you both the same question. Suzanne, you answer first. The astounding figures that we just spoke of a few moments ago indicate that an awful lot of people are interested in losing weight, especially this time of year for obvious reasons. The holidays are behind us and people are looking ahead. So they have this incredible enthusiasm in January, February, and March, but what happens to it after that? Why don't people follow through? Why do 98% of all people on diets crash that diet at the end of the year? What's the real key nutritionally to being fed in such a way as to really not have that sort of that desire that is unstoppable, that addiction? How can we treat the addiction, so to speak, from more of a cellular, healthy sort of providence manner, so you're getting good, solid nutrition and not having that chemical drive or that mental drive? You first. And you and I have worked in corporate setting where we studied how people changing their diet over the long term versus thinking it's a diet, but thinking in terms of reducing food sensitivities, learning how to eat well, just like I was talking about changing their body composition. Right.
Fat doesn't burn any calories, but muscle does.
Right.
So thinking about it in terms of a long program, and there's actually been some research on combining hypnosis and weight loss programs together, where hypnosis can help keep someone's practice and how they eat over a longer period of time. So I'm really excited to work with Mona because I've done a lot of programs where I've incorporated nutrition and exercise with personal trainers.
Right.
But this is really exciting. And actually, I looked back. There's a bunch of studies, mostly done in the 80s and 90s. And if you go to the Vanderbilt website, Vanderbilt University, they talk about, like in 1985, there were researchers that found, and again in 1989, that women and men, there was a study in 89 where 45 women were followed over 3 months, and the people that were just on weight loss alone lost less weight than the people who combined hypnosis as well. And there's been studies done at their psychology department where they did a meta-analysis in 1996, which means they studied 6 different studies. And this researcher, Kirsch, found that over a short period of time, over a couple of months, people on just the weight loss program with nutrition lost 6 pounds, but when they combine it with hypnosis, there was a statistically significant difference.
15 pounds.
12, close. 12 pounds.
Yeah, that was the Irving Kirsch study.
Yes, exactly.
Or Oiving, as we like to say,
Right.
from when we're in Brooklyn.
Right. So, so I'm excited, and what Mona and I are also hoping to do is if people want to make an appointment with us to do a nutrition and a hypnosis appointment over 3 sessions, we're hoping to be able to give them a discount so we can also see
Great.
what the combination can do and
Sure.
do an informal
Because you want to
study on
have
that.
a lasting impact. You want this to not just be one of those classic wastes of money over a short period of time, which,
Right.
of course, are exhausting at this
Yeah.
point.
So Tuesday night is a good way just to learn more about it. If you sign up in advance by tomorrow, it's $45. Otherwise, it's $50 at the door. Otherwise, it would be over $250 for an hour-and-a-half appointment with both of us. So
Great.
it's a great way to...
It's a good deal.
Mona, hold your answer because we've got a few business items to tend to here. We're going to pay the light bills. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Laura from Good Health. Fall is cold and flu season, so remember to visit Good Health and ask about all our natural remedies that will boost your immune system and give you energy. Do all you can to maintain control of your health. Stay healthy and live longer. Visit Good Health in Quincy and Hanover for the best values and everyday convenience. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Right in our area, we are fortunate to have one of the top martial arts schools in the country, Personal Best Karate. Personal Best has been recognized for their community involvement, professional staff development, character building programs, and exciting educational curriculum. Personal Best stands at the top of their industry. 5 locations offering personalized professional instruction. Not sure if karate is right for you? At no obligation, the staff at Personal Best will guide you in a private introductory program to see if karate is indeed the right fit to help you achieve your goals and meet your needs. What does karate at Personal Best teach you? Character building, success habits, helps you get in shape, Relieve stress, self-control, setting goals, and of course, self-defense. Personal Best goal is to create successful, contributing members of society through the practice of the martial arts at Personal Best. Mr. Chris Rappold is, of course, the founder of Personal Best Karate. He tells me his greatest joy of all is to see the personal transformation in each and every student. Bring out your best with Personal Best Karate. Telephone number 508-285-5425. That's 508-285-5425. Locations in Norton, Foxborough, Southeaston, Franklin, and Taunton. That's Personal Best Karate. Alrighty, welcome back. Hope you're all tucked in. Get your feetsy pajamas on, your herb teas, got the fire stoked. Getting a little chilly tonight. Larry says 15 big ones this evening, so pull up your chair and get close to that radio because we're giving you some very interesting information tonight through the result of an interesting program coming up Tuesday at the Red Lion entitled Nutrition and Hypnosis for Weight Loss. We know you're all trying to lose weight out there this time of the year, so we have Suzanne Landry, Mona Cusick in here to try to help us out as far as the nutrition and the hypnosis part of it goes. Mona, your answer as far as what's the real difference maker here? Why so many folks out there are not really following through on these programs? What's the key to getting it done?
Well, I think the key is knowing what to eat, knowing how to eat, and also using hypnosis. If you can access that subconscious mind, you can get rid of those, change those habits, pick up and remove those imprints. I think if we can get in there and give them a suggestion that they're having no urges, desires, or cravings to eat that sugar, that, gravies,
right,
white
those addictions that they have.
Then we can also give them suggestions that they're going to eat healthy, get the body they want, they're doing a really good job. I think working with the subconscious mind and removing all those patterns helps.
Now talk just for a few moments, if you would, about some of the case studies, some of the wonderful work. I know a lot of the great work you've done, but I'd love folks out there to hear some of the stuff that you've done with your great hypnosis programs.
Well, the one study that I'd like to tell you about, it happens to be my sister, and I did ask her if I could tell the story, and she said no, so of course I'm going. No, she said yes.
Sisterly love.
Yeah. My sister is a beautiful girl. Mm-hmm. Let me give you a little background. My mother was an artist. She painted. She could do anything, do portraits, landscapes. I followed in her footsteps, and I became an artist. My sister's daughter, Christine, also became an artist. My sister said to me a couple of years ago, how come I just don't have any artistic ability? I said, what do you mean? I have no artistic ability. Look at you. You became a graphic designer. Mom paints. My daughter, Chris, paints. What happened to me? And I said, I didn't know you wanted to paint. She said, well, I did, but Mom told me I didn't have any talent. So I said, oh.
So that was a suggestion that was stuck in there, right?
Exactly. There's your imprint. And I'm sure my mother didn't mean it. She, my sister was good in academically, but my mother must have said, you don't have the talent to paint. So I said, would you mind if I hypnotize you? She said, it's not going to work. I said, would you just let me? Well, in May, Christine and her mother came back from Rome with their painting class.
Wow.
But the biggest thing about this story is Christine and I had drawing classes and still life classes. My sister never took a drawing class, and now she's painting. Incredible. So it removes that, which is really big. We have to know what we're saying to our kids. If you tell a child that he's stupid,
sure,
eventually he's going to believe it.
Those words are so very important. And one of the things that Bernie mentioned at the talk last night is the great line by Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is the author of The Biology of Belief, who said that the first 6 years of our lives, we're literally in hypnosis. We're in a hypnotic state. Children are naturally the first, from ages 1 to 6, in that hypnotic state. So everything Mom and Dad says has to be weighed very cautiously, because even this little inadvertent comment, like you can't be an artist or whatever, can stick in there for a long time. So that's a wonderful story how you help to release that and reprogram.
Yeah, and the suggestion was you have unlimited power. You can do anything you want to do. No one can diminish who you are. And she believed. She believed. The important thing to know is that you have the power. This is what's great about hypnosis. The hypnotist just gives you the tools.
Right.
And you use them.
Well, it's like the story I always like to tell about Dr. Richard Davidson out at the University of Wisconsin, how he's done these wonderful, wonderful studies with large numbers of people, helping them reformat their negative thinking, etc. So he took like 1,000 folks, and he said, all right, I want everybody to come in here on this study that we're doing for the next 16 weeks, and I want you to say something really positive, like, for example, for 10 minutes, you're going to come in here once a day for 10 minutes for the next 16 weeks, just 10 minutes a day, and all together, like a mantra, we're going to say, I am healthy, I'm happy, I'm vibrant, and I love my life, something like that. And so there are people raising their hands all in the room saying, wait a minute, doctor, I don't feel that way. I'll feel like I've been lying to myself. He said, look, we don't care what you believe. Just say it.
Exactly.
We just want you to say the words, because whatever words you utter and rehearse are the words that you're going to become.
Exactly.
So I always tell my patients, lie to yourself until it's not a lie anymore.
That's cool, because the subconscious mind believes everything you tell it.
Of course.
Yeah.
So if you say to yourself, well, I really can't paint, or I really can't draw, you start lying to yourself that you can, and eventually it's not a lie anymore. So
Right.
Great stuff.
And what Bruce Lipton was talking about before the age of 6, that you're in a hypnotic state, Mona has hypnotized me, and I was hoping I would be floating around in the room looking down on myself, but really, it's really just that you're more aware and more sensitive, just like a kid is, and less inhibited.
Well,
so you get to that place.
And I think the place that has really dispelled a lot of the myths regarding hypnosis is the world of athletics, because there's a lot of million-dollar athletes that are hiring people to hypnotize them these days, to get them to really focus more intently on whatever their goals are. And a lot of those folks are really so much more efficient when they've gone through these hypnosis programs at really focusing with greater intensity on whatever their goals are. So really, that's what you're doing. You're getting a hold of folks with these weight loss goals who perhaps haven't done so well in the past, like most people. And we're trying to basically give them a new programming in their mind so that they can start really, in many respects, for the first time with a positive mind to get a job done.
Yes.
Great stuff. Suzanne, you've got some wonderful stories as well. Why don't you share some of those?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, too, that what Bernie was saying and what Bruce Lipton writes in his book is that if I were to ask you listeners, did your mom love you, or did your dad love you, did your parents love you? If you say no, 35 years later, you're 98% more likely to have a severe, some type of condition, heart attack, major illness.
Yes.
And if you were to answer, if I asked, do your parents love you, and you say yes, that your risk is under 25%. It's closer to like 5%.
Yeah, you said like 4%.
4%, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
So what we're going to talk about in this class, too, is emotional eating. Because all this baggage we're carrying around of our fears, and, we don't feel good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not good enough, or scared that we're going to address those from an emotional eating perspective. If we have time, we're going to do a mindful eating exercise so people can focus on what their tastes are, what they crave, what they like, and then Mona's going to work on those from a hypnotic perspective in helping people eliminate those triggers.
So folks, if you're interested in really getting the weight loss job done for once and for all, and really make those positive changes in a way that is not temporary, you want to contact these folks down at the Red Lion Inn, 6:30 to 9 o'clock this coming Tuesday. And that's going to be 71 South Main Street, Nutrition and Hypnosis for Weight Loss. Why don't you give the number, too, where they can find out about tickets and all that stuff?
You can call our office and Mark's office at Santi Holistic Healing at 781-383-3393. So 781-383-3393. And if you sign up before tomorrow, it's $45. Otherwise, it's $50 at the door. And we'd love it if people could call in advance just so we can plan on how many people are going to be there.
Now, what about the idea of exercise? Is that going to enter into this at all? I know that hypnosis is a major factor in Tuesday's presentation, as is nutrition. Is there going to be any discussion about things like, I'm guessing that a lot of folks get mental blocks about exercise as well. There's an awful lot of people that I've met over the years that say, I just don't feel comfortable exercising. I don't have time to exercise. A lot of negative sort of speak around that, and it seems like maybe hypnosis would be a place that could be helpful in those areas as well.
That's also a suggestion that I will be putting in, whether it be walking, swimming.
Because it doesn't take a whole lot.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, I walk like 6 days a week, every week. I mean, I was out there today. It doesn't, rain or shine, freeze or whatever. And I think, folks are sort of like under this guise that no, it's too cold, it's too wintry, you can't do it. Of course you can do it.
Right.
And it's all suggestion, So if I tell myself, it's cold, then I'm not going to want to go out there. But if I just tell myself I can do this and feel so much better after having done it, I think it's like a state of mind.
You're absolutely right, and I have to add to that hypnosis is a tool. It's not a magic wand. The client is responsible for everything and their own success. Inducing the hypnosis alone, it doesn't create a change, just like holding a pencil doesn't make you an award-winning book. So they have to do their own work.
Right.
Yeah, and I've found that people, especially who say that they have a really hard time losing weight, who probably have a thyroid condition, it's usually rooted in their adrenals. So the fight or flight system that they're carrying around all these burdens and stress over their lifetime. And so oftentimes when I muscle test people, they do better with, like you're talking about, walking outside, even if it's slower because there's ice, than they would if they were like a rabbit on a treadmill burning a ton of calories, because it actually helps to, it's not always about how many calories you take in and how much you burn. It's really about what's going on a cellular level and trying to calm your body to help you to lose weight and get your hormones and metabolism working, versus what we all think about, get on the treadmill and, burn as many calories you can think. So
now, I know you two are both familiar with Good Health Natural Foods.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, we're going to take a minute and we're going to represent Good Health Natural Foods on these commercials. Larry's going to help us do that. So stay tuned if you're out there listening. We'll be right on back with you.
This is Catherine from Jarrow Formulas. We're happy to have continued our relationship with Mark Nicola in the Health and Healing Show, and we're happy to announce a new product from Jarrow Formulas called Jarrow Cell. We all know that as the body ages, it heals less rapidly and becomes frailer. Often the body is unable to process enough nutrients to repair weakening cartilage and protein fibers. A very important element in building and repairing your body is silicone. But unfortunately, as we grow, you may have difficulty absorbing adequate silicone from your diet. But now, thanks to a product called Jarrow Cell, you can be sure to get your share. Jarrow Cell can give you the silicone you need to support your bone health, bone mineral density, and in addition, Jarrow Cell strengthens and beautifies your hair, skin, and nails. Jarrow Cell is available now in a synergistic liquid formula that also includes boron and zinc. Ask for Jarrow Cell at your local health food stores. Or for more information, you can go to the Jarrow website, which is www.jarrow.com. Hi, this is Laura from Good Health Natural Foods, proud sponsor of the Natural Health and Healing Show. This year, let us help you save money and make every dollar count. Come by our stores in Quincy Center or Route 53 in Hanover. We've got everything you need year-round. Organic produce, natural groceries, vitamins, health and beauty items for everyone on your list. Visit us at goodhealthnaturalfood.com for monthly specials and new cutting-edge products. Thanks for listening to the Health and Healing Show.
All right, and Good Health Natural Foods is, of course, our flagship sponsor, has been for 8 years. Holy cow, 8 years have gone by that happened. And if it weren't for Ralph and Diane and their wonderful staff, like Nick Mincola, I just got to give my son Nick a little plug every now and then. He's down at the Hanover store. And, it's funny, his vibe is already kind of spreading out there, because everywhere I go, they go, hey, Nick, I talked to Nick the other day. So that's great. Nick's already getting it done down there at Good Health Natural Foods, helping a lot of folks out, and we love hearing about that. So get on down to Good Health, especially if you can get down to Hanover and tell Nick we said we love him, all right? All right, meanwhile, we are talking with Suzanne Landry and Monica Cusick, and of course these gals are doing a program this coming Tuesday at the Red Lion Inn in lovely downtown metropolitan Cohasset, Massachusetts. And it's going to be 6:30 to 9 this coming Tuesday. It's called Nutrition and Hypnosis for Weight Loss. So those of you who are part of the army of folks out there that are trying to engage in a successful recovery program from the holidays, all those holiday food hangovers, and we mean literally over the belt buckle hangovers, that you might want to connect with these folks and maybe learn about how to tune in and get some real lasting results from the inside out. That's really what it's about. Mona, I'd love to talk just for a moment or two here, if we could, about the connection between stress in hypnosis. I know an awful lot of folks, especially this time of year, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension, a lot of stress seems to build up. And a lot of folks don't do well, after the holidays and all that business, and may have the desire to do something significant, like make changes going into the new year, but not a really advantageous time for them. A lot of stress.
Right.
What do we do?
Again, hypnosis is huge. I also give people mudras, ancient yoga hand symbols, so that they can meditate with them. I'm also a yoga instructor, so I teach them some postures. Big to meditate, to calm your mind, to put it on hold for a while, because the world is pretty stressful. And
Sure.
After the holidays, everybody's coming down. You're right, they're depressed, they're unhappy. The breathing techniques, and yoga and meditation, along with the hypnotic suggestions, are huge.
So if folks are coming in this coming Tuesday, part of what they may learn a little bit of something about is how they can offset some of their stress issues with breathing exercises, certain yoga exercises.
We'll actually give them a breathing technique.
And they don't have to be accomplished yoga people to be able to do some of the things you're going to share. These are going to be real simple things. And again, for folks that are a little intimidated by the word yoga, what would you say to that about what they're going to be learning?
Just relaxation, stretching.
Simple stretching techniques. But powerful techniques.
Exactly, yeah. Turning inward.
You don't have to be a pretzel to
No, you don't.
do yoga with Mona.
Nor will you turn into one if you attempt some of these.
Yeah.
So, Suzanne, you're going to talk a little bit about, not just food, but vitamins, supplements, things like that perhaps support metabolism, weight loss, thyroid, things of this nature, and the adrenal glands, etc.
Yep, and speaking to what Mona's talking about in terms of focusing on emotional eating and triggers, one thing in Chinese medicine that I focus a lot on is oftentimes the way people eat can contribute to depression or lack of being able to concentrate. And so sometimes what we do in our office is treat someone's spleen, for example, because they might be feeling anxious. And if someone cuts out sugar and does a lower glycemic load, like I was talking about, they may actually find that they're less anxious.
Right.
And it's really interesting. So sometimes you can help someone from a food perspective to feel less anxious, or you can get to the root of the anxiety.
So you're talking about treating specific parts of the body with certain types of food emphasis.
Right. And so I'm also going to talk about food sensitivities.
Like allergy type things, right?
Right. So most of your callers know, because you've spoken about this in the past, but there are two types of food allergies. There's the food allergy like peanuts, where people, are unable to breathe.
Anaphylaxis.
That is a reaction within a couple hours. And they're significant, but people know what to avoid, so they're generally not as much of an issue. Where food sensitivities are the ones that the immune system produces immunoglobulin G, just means that it creates these antibodies that cause an inflammation and histamine and production of hormones, which is why food sensitivities is something really important to focus on with weight loss, because the more inflammatory someone is, the harder it is going to be to lose weight. And sometimes I have people that come into my office whose thyroid that I test, their T3, T4, is so, like in the tubes, it's almost, they're not burning any calories. And sometimes I want to, put them on a supplement, and I try to just focus on food, because I like to just focus mostly on natural medicine, on natural foods. And I'm always surprised, because most of them will come back, and their thyroid and their metabolism speeds up just by focusing on the food without any supplements. And these are people that have had chronic low metabolism, inability to lose weight, more weight around their belly.
Yes.
And have been so frustrated even trying different diets. But when you remove the food sensitivities, it makes a big difference. So we're going to talk about that.
Well, what do you find is the one, if there is such a thing, the most specific, or I should say the most common food problem related to this weight loss phenomena of, weight loss failure, if you will?
Well, I think it's different for different people.
Yep.
Like I was talking about rooting it to a specific organ, but I would say the biggest problem is sugar. Eating lots of foods that...
Now, do you mean like sucrose, white stuff?
White sugar, white flour, any processed foods, because that's going to spike the glycemic load, insulin, but it's also usually wheat is a big trigger, one of the most common food sensitivities.
Right.
So usually what's ever in those foods are also what's, triggering their hormonal reaction, their cellular reaction, and like I said, these food sensitivities, so things, and inflammation.
Right.
And what I love about...
Now, back up for 1 second here, because a lot of people out there don't know how, for the average listener out there, inflammation means my shoulder's killing me or my knee's killing me.
Well, what's interesting is, what I love doing is when somebody's working on one specific issue, so say weight loss, as they lose weight, because they're also probably cutting out some of the foods that they might have a food sensitivity to or that are triggering those, they'll end up, their pain in their neck or their knees will get better, their eczema gets better, heart disease, cholesterol risk, all
and
that.
these are all inflammatory issues.
Right.
And people are not aware of the fact that things like heart disease is inflammatory and cancer is inflammatory.
Yeah, like 90% of conditions.
Inflammation goes way past your achy knees and joints and shoulders and all that stuff, folks. So that's really important stuff. So you're going to help people get in touch with some of that information as well.
Yeah, and then also I'm going to speak to the importance of essential fatty acids, like we're talking about inflammation. So there are some foods that are inflammatory, which would make it harder to lose weight, and then there are some foods that are anti-inflammatory. And there's some research to show that if you're deficient in some of the essential fatty acids, like flax or fish or evening primrose oil, that you have a lower production of hormones, which may be triggering your thyroid being slow,
Right.
and therefore your body actually will crave high-calorie, high-fat foods. So it's on so many different levels that foods can affect you, and so we're going to talk a little bit about how to help reduce sugar cravings, from different perspectives as well.
So if you like what you're hearing, folks, you're going to hear a lot of it between 6:30 and 9 on Tuesday this coming week at the Red Lion Inn, 71 South Main Street in Cohasset. Nutrition and hypnosis for weight loss. If you're interested, you want to give a call, 781-383-3393. And Mona, I want to cover one quick issue here too. Children. A lot of kids, for example, that maybe have weight problems. A lot of kids these days, more and more children are obese. Obviously, it's incredible. The statistical data on that stuff is really amazing. It's incredible how many kids are struggling with foods these days. Is it possible that we can use hypnosis for children with these circumstances as well?
Kids are great under hypnosis. They're highly suggestible anyway. So, it doesn't take them much to have such an imagination.
So if moms or dads have a child who's been struggling with food and with food addictions and weight loss and obesity, they can bring the child down.
Absolutely.
So that's really important news as well. And obviously, Suzanne, when it comes to kids, teaching children how to eat is a whole different matter than teaching adults how to eat. What say you about that?
I love working with kids because what I'll do when they come to my office is test their food sensitivities with vials and muscle test them.
Sure.
So they put their arm up. If something's good for them, their arm will stay up. If it's not, their arm will fall.
Yep.
And kids respond really well to that because it's not an adult or a parent or a practitioner telling them what to do.
Right.
But it's like they sort of get into it and then they hold the vials and, then they try to muscle test
so
me.
It's interactive.
Yeah, and it's very clear. It's like what your body wants.
And they can feel it.
Yeah, versus what their mom wants. So.
It's leaving a much stronger impression. It's very palpable that way. It's very interesting stuff to watch those kids, and they do love it, don't they? It's almost it's a fun new endeavor. It's a game that they get into, and it sort of introduces them to the whole process of their own self-empowerment.
Right.
Kids are so visceral about things, about feeling things, that it captivates them. It's amazing how they work with it.
Yeah, and even with teenagers, I have I started to see one teenager for acne, and I swear I see like 10 of his friends because they're all coming in, and I kind of know what's going on in this particular town, who's dating who, and so it's fun, and you think sometimes kids aren't going to be as interested in trying to avoid a food. Like even with my brother, sometimes I'll say, well, try to keep the peanut butter away or something because, he has a sensitivity. And I think some parents think they're almost abusing their kids by not giving them dessert or peanuts. But when you get the kid in the office, they actually are very, very receptive.
Well, and that's a great question, too, right there, is the idea of a lot of folks out there listening right now saying, so many of these nutritionists and diet programs make life virtually impossible to live. We got to have a little fun once in a while, and it's the food, the food Nazis are really getting under my skin here. So how do I contend with this notion of eating well, without being completely overdriven here with this guilt and all this other business? What do you say about that?
Well, whenever I work with people, my tendency is I want everybody to be able to eat everything because I want everybody to be happy too. But what I find is if somebody has a severe chronic condition, rheumatoid arthritis, ALS, cancer, they may have to be a little bit stricter because in order to get their body back in balance, it may take a little while.
But how about a weight loss program like this?
Over
People come in on Tuesday night, are they going to be frightened away by the fact that they have to eat perfectly 7 days a week, 100% or what?
No, it's more like 80% of the time. Sometimes what people find is...
You give them ground rules.
They're ground rules, yeah. Once they get in balance, generally they can liberalize their diet even beyond that sometimes.
Right, so maybe on a weekend they can cut a corner here and there. And Monday morning back to business, right?
Yes.
Amazing stuff. We are going to take a short break here, and we'll be back in just a few moments with nutrition and hypnosis for weight loss. Stay right where you are.
Hi, this is Laura from Good Health. When it comes to lasting health and nutrition, the old adage, you are what you eat, really is true. Try to think about your lifestyle and what you put into your body this year. Read those labels on your foods and look for actual ingredients in all your purchases. Shop smart and save money. Visit Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover.
Hi there, this is Mark Mincole, the Natural Health and Healing Show. I know that so many of you out there are passionate about the latest cutting-edge nutritional information, would like to go on to that next level. I'm proud to announce that our new natural health care offices in Cohasset are offering personalized nutritional consultations. At Santi Holistic Healing, you'll experience an informative, individualized nutritional consultation by one of my finest personally trained nutritional experts. Your consultant will test you for specific food allergies and supplements. Together, you will chart out a personalized, optimal nutritional roadmap that will detail your healthiest foods and nutritional supplements, even specific doses. If that's not enough, we also offer relaxing healing massage at Santi Holistic Healing. Whether it's nutritional consulting or healing massage that you're interested in, we at Santi Holistic Healing are prepared to give you the healing experience of a lifetime. Call us at 781-383-3393. That's 781-383-3393 for the healing experience of a lifetime. Alrighty, welcome back. And, of course, we've had a very enlightening evening talking with Suzanne Landry, Mona Corvels, Cusick, and, of course, they work at Santi Holistic Healing in Cohasset with moi. And they're discussing their upcoming Tuesday event, Nutrition and Hypnosis for Weight Loss. And tis the season for weight loss. So we know that that's in your mind. A lot of you out there, it's something you're very interested in. And, there's an awful lot of fluff, as far as these programs that fail. And they're there for one reason, to make a buck. So there's an awful lot of weight loss hype out there, unfortunately, which is exactly why 98% of the programs fail. 98% of those people who do engage in these these weight loss programs, fail within 5 years. And as we said, 66% are failed within 6 to 12 months. So unfortunately, there's an awful lot of programs out there that are interested in one thing and one thing only. You saw the reports in the news this past week about how they, Weight Watchers and all these other programs are basically lying on their labels, up to as much as 18% more calories than they list. I mean, come on, folks. They're not looking out for you out there. Don't take the easy way out. This is all about learning the real deal. It's about getting it from people who are impassioned to share it with you, to educate you, to inspire you, and to get it done right. so that it lasts and so that it's all about life changes. Mona, when we talk about hypnosis, the idea of changes, people invariably, when they go through these kind of life changes and you put a positive suggestion, we've all read stories about it, and a lot of the studies as well talk about people who go through changes. Does it change their outlook? In other words, when people get that positive suggestion and lose 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds, Suzanne, you can also answer this, after they lose a tremendous amount of weight, what happens to them? Because I actually had somebody in the office this week who kind of broke down and cried after having lost like 75 pounds and was happy about it and said, it's the first time in my life that I dared to do it. And she said, I never really admitted to myself that I was actually afraid of what was on the other side. I was afraid of this new experience. What was I going to be like after I lost it? So what happens in general? What do you think happens to most folks? Is it something that they should, tread cautiously or fearfully about, or they should just basically dive into it? What do you think?
No, I think people become empowered. They really do.
It's called transformation.
Exactly.
Changing your form, changing who you were. Don't be afraid of it, folks. That's the message.
And then they try other things. They know they can do it.
Right. Absolutely.
Interestingly, I've had people who've lost that much weight, and then they end up almost feeling sadder because what they realize is the person they've been carrying around, which is, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful, and all that. Like what Bernie was talking about last night, find a picture of when you were young and talk to that child and love that child.
Right.
So it's really getting to the root, and I know that a lot of people, and myself included, when I've had things in my life that have happened that have been very emotionally, heated, that my metabolism stops working too, because it's the emotion it's not just that you're necessarily overeating. Sometimes your metabolism just stops because of that adrenaline, epinephrine, cortisol that's as a result of stress.
Like I say, we are creating a culture of emergency producers.
Yes.
We're producing emergencies in our brain. So, the idea of dealing with stress is saying, hey, I don't have to keep doing that just because it's familiar and just because I've done it since I was a child, just because I've grown up and grown through a tremendous amount of stress. I don't have to keep repeating that. And I think that's one of big messages from as far as hypnosis goes.
When I knew I was coming on the show to talk about my work with Mona, I found a study, the June 2009 Primary Care Journal. The Department of Family Medicine in the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston did a meta-analysis over the last 20 years, and they found the only thing that works in conjunction with a weight loss program related to nutrition is acupuncture and hypnosis, because they found that it helps people to keep the weight off long term. So I think what we're doing is powerful by working together to get the knowledge, like we were talking about, to help people know how to eat so it's not a diet, but it's more a wellness program, and then have hypnosis in conjunction is so powerful. So I'm psyched we can offer this program at such a discount on Tuesday.
Right.
Because Mona and I, we love what we do. We're not looking to...
One of the astounding studies that I happened to trip out on was one done by Cochrane and Friesen in 1986, as far back as 86. And it was published in the Journal of Consulting and Clinical Psychology. They had 60 females who were at least 20% overweight. And what they did is they followed them up over a 6-month period of time. Some were obviously treated with nutrition, diet, and hypnosis, and others were just treated with diet alone. And those who were treated with diet alone, after the end of the 6-month period, only lost an average of a half a pound. Those who were treated with hypnosis and diet lost 17 pounds average. So I think, people need to know that hypnosis is really nothing more than, and not to minimize it, but it's nothing more than a reprogramming of the way your mind works from negative to positive. Especially especially, Mona, for those folks who have already tried and failed at 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. There's a lot of professional dieters out there. And, each time you don't succeed at something, it reinforces the negative. So if anything can help them turn around and start fresh, it's reformatting their mind through hypnosis program.
And they're working in that conscious mind, saying, oh, it didn't work last time, it doesn't work this time. And when you can reconfigure the relationship between the two parts of the mind so that the subconscious plays a more important or dominant role, you can get right in there and talk to it. So, you can do this. You're going to be beautiful. You're going to be healthy.
Yep. So So Suzanne, there's a lot of people out there that do nutrition work. There's a lot of people out there that do dietetic work and whatnot. Folks coming down there are thinking about coming down there on Tuesday. What's the deal? What's the deal breaker? What makes you different? What makes your program unusual? Why should people go down there and do it? I mean, I know why I would.
Well, yeah, and a lot of those nutritionists...
Because I like you.
Well, a lot of those nutritionists...
But they don't know you.
Right. Oh, they're my friends, too, and I feel like whatever works for you, I'd say do it, whatever
Right.
you find that works for you. I think this program is great because we're going to talk about food sensitivities, how to eat.
Right.
People will actually leave with a meal plan, what supplements are going to help with their metabolism, and what supplements help reduce sugar cravings so that they have a great understanding of how to help on a hormonal level, on an adrenal level, and how to help on a blood sugar cellular level. But to combine that with hypnosis is so exciting. I feel like I thought I was at the forefront of this idea, and then I started to research it, and I'm like, oh, this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think combining the program is just going to help people follow something longer, and it's also going to give them an introduction to hypnosis at a much cheaper rate. And, of course, any program requires some follow-up as well, but I think this will give a great introduction on how somebody can leave the program and they'll have their mudra, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have already been hypnotized, and they'll have a meal plan. They'll know what supplements are going to help them. So I think it's going to be really powerful.
Some people are going to walk out of there and just lose weight. Some people might need a little extra help because they might be eating for different reasons.
But this has a very real opportunity to be life-changing, a life-changing event.
They're going to have the tools that they can do it with.
The roadmap's going to be there, folks, so it's up to you. And again, if they're interested, they can call 781-383-3393 because that's Santi Holistic Healing, and that's where you can obtain either more information or tickets in advance. So folks are supposed to get there a little bit on the early side, I guess, about 6:30, right?
Right.
On Tuesday night.
And actually, Mona, if people are attending, they should bring something comfortable for the hypnosis.
They should wear comfortable clothing, and if they really wanted to get comfy, they could bring their own little blanket or a pillow. They could sit in the chair or they could lie down.
I should also kick in here, too. These girls are being somewhat modest here, but there's nobody like either of them. I've actually worked with Mona myself, had one of the most wonderful, wonderful sessions that I've ever had in my life. I still feel like I'm benefiting from it even now. So, I think the lasting effects of really a wonderful hypnosis session, the time you go through it, you say, wow, that is so relaxing. I could really use that, and, at the end of a work day or whatever. But when you realize that it's affecting you the next day, the next day, the next day, and its cumulative effect starts to really make itself, make you aware of its cumulative effects, it's very, very powerful. So, I honestly feel the lasting effects of the great, great session you took me through, and I endorse it highly. It was wonderful. And Suzanne, we were so fortunate to meet Suzanne. I first met Suzanne. She was a patient a number of years ago. And working at Mass General at the time, I think?
I think so. Actually, I remember, and I tell people all the time, here I am telling people what's good for them. Cheese, arm goes down. I'm sorry, you can't have cheese. Oh, let's try soy cheese. Oh, let's try goat cheese. Let's try any kind of cheese because I love cheese too. And I got out to the parking lot, and I started to drive away, and then I remembered thinking, oh, shoot, I didn't ask. So I came flying up the stairs. You were about to take somebody else into your appointment, and I put my arm up, and I was like, wine! And then I said, crazy maki sauce from shrimp tempura rolls or whatever, and and then Parmesan cheese. I think I could have a teaspoon for the week or something. But I understand the pain too because we're in the sidelines in between sessions, muscle testing what's good for us too. And we're real people. It's not like we want to be eating a rice and bean sprout for dinner. We try to make it exciting too.
Good point. Well, she's a very, very special person and a very gifted nutritionist. We're very, very lucky to have her. And anybody interested in tapping in again, Nutrition and Hypnosis for Weight Loss Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. Would that date be? The 12th?
12th.
Yeah, Tuesday, January 12th at the Red Lion Inn. That's 71 South Main Street, Cohasset, from 6:30 to 9 o'clock. Again, if you're interested, call 781-383-3393. Any kind of parting information that you want to make sure that everybody out there who's been listening tonight takes away. What would that be, Mona?
just know you have the power for whatever it is, whether it be, reducing pain, stress management. We have the tools, and you have the power.
That is so important for people to hear that, because people are so kind of codependently programmed out of their power. And the more they fail at something, the more they sort of actualize that negativity. But how many sessions will it take for somebody generally to really turn around and get that power going in the right direction?
That depends on the person. A person can walk out.
Can it happen once?
Yes, absolutely, positively. And then again, they say smokers sometimes need 3. I've seen people walk out once and never pick up another cigarette. Weight loss is a little tricky because, again, we eat for different reasons.
Sure.
It might be comforting. It might be, because you have to finish everything on your plate because there's people starving. There's different reasons, but yes, people can walk out in 1 or, sometimes it might take 2 or 3.
Great information, and we thank you so much for helping us out tonight.
Thank you so much for letting us come.
And Suzanne, if we had to ask you any parting information that you'd like to share with all the listeners out there that have been tuning in and considering showing up on Tuesday night at the Red Lion at 6:30, you'd say what to them?
I would say I'd love to meet you, and that I respect whatever people choose to do, and I would hope that whatever they do, and I hope whatever they're working on works for them, because I think finding peace within yourself, like Bernie Siegel was talking about, is what makes the biggest difference. So however you can get there, whether it's our program or another program, I think, whatever you can do to empower yourself is really important.
Well, you guys make a great team, and I think the project is really a brilliant one. I think the idea of working with the mind and the body at the same time is really what it's all about. So I wish you both a great evening, and anybody that is wise enough to take part in this experience, again, it's, I'll tell you one more time, 781-383-3393, nutrition and hypnosis for weight loss. Thank you both so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Have you both back in soon, right?
Love it.
Come back and visit us here on the back porch at WATD, will you please? And next time you bring the mint julep tea, all right? All right. Thank you so much for joining us. The past hour has gone by awfully fast, per usual. And remember, we've got this business up on the website, thanks to Adam Ing. And it's up there both in podcast if you want to watch, or you can just listen if you choose. And that's at www.maxhealing.com. Until next Sunday night at 8 o'clock, this is Mark Mincola reminding you all, please, be wise, be aware, be well, make it a healthy week. Good night.
Thank you for joining Mark Mincola for the Natural Health and Healing